everyone, and welcome back to Queen Elizabeth, A Day in Her Life. It's time for the royal news. So let's see what's been going on around the date of July the 19th, 2025. The first news comes from Fox News and it's dated July 19th, 2025. King Charles shatters 100-year-old royal tradition to usher in modern monarchy. This is by Stephanie Nolasco and Ashley Papa for the Fox News. After more than 100 years, King Charles is changing the rules at Buckingham Palace. For the first time, players on the royal family's outdoor tennis court no longer have to follow the strict, almost entirely white dress code, the Sunday Times reported. According to the outlet, the 76-year-old has relaxed the protocol, making tennis whites now preferred but not essential for players, including members of the royal family, household staff, and their guests. Fox News Digital reached out to Buckingham Palace for comment. Shannon Felton Spence, a former British public affairs official, told Fox News Digital that the king has been determined to modernize the monarchy, making it fresh and relevant for today's public. King Charles is a very progressive-thinking man, said Felton Spence. He has been his entire life always looking forward and trying to build for the future. He has made it his mission to reshape a monarchy fit for the purpose today and tomorrow, while keeping the cultural relevancy that grounds the institution. These initiatives are good news and should be celebrated. British royal expert Hilary Fordwich told Fox News Digital that it's one of the many changes the busy king has been making. She pointed out that Buckingham Palace announced on July the 3rd that the royal train, whose history dates back to Queen Victoria, would end 156 years of service. The palace shared it's too costly to operate and would require a significant upgrade to accommodate more advanced rail systems. The royal train is no longer, said Fordwich. Other changes have included lowering the temperature of the palace swimming pool to reduce energy consumption and other updates to palace amenities. King Charles had previously broken many royal customs, including changes to ceremonial duties, the public displays of affection, and in general, many public engagement styles, she shared. His direct engagement and political lobbying has not been well received and has been most ill-advised. The dress code upgrade is significant for the king, who is known for his formal wear. According to the outlet, Charles is rarely seen in jeans or sneakers. However, he wanted his staff and guests in particular to feel less restricted by protocol. While the end of all white tennis dress code at Buckingham Palace might seem somewhat minor, it's a significant and rather symbolic step by King Charles to modernize the monarchy, making royal life more approachable and less bound by rigid traditions, Fordwich explained. Fordwich noted that the fashion rule was originally put in place when the court was built in 1919 during King George V's reign. According to the Royal Collection Trust, it's recognized as London's most exclusive tennis court. The Sunday Times noted that it's located in a shady area of the palace's 40-acre garden. It's always been a hallmark of royal sporting etiquette, Fordwich shared. Players, including royal staff and guests, may not wear colored clothing, and it's so sad to see yet another tradition abandoned. It's noted that for Charles's ancestors, sweat was considered unsightly, and colorful clothing showed it off more than the white ensembles. Felton Spence noted that we can expect the king to continue bending the rules. Protocol are simply unofficial rules adopted through tradition. They started somewhere, she said. Commentator Amanda Matta also told Fox News Digital that Charles's latest move may have been a quiet one, but its message was loud and clear. It might seem like a minor change, but in royal circles, even a small dress code modification says a lot, Matta explained. The all-white rule dates back to Victorian ideas about formality and appearance, and changing it shows that Charles is willing to let go of traditions that felt outdated, she shared. It's also a practical move. This isn't Wimbledon, after all, and the court is used by family, guests, and even palace staff, so relaxing the rules makes sense. I'm expecting and excited for more of these small tweaks throughout Charles's reign. And royal expert Ian Pelham Turner told Fox News Digital that Charles isn't the only one looking to dust off the monarchy's rigid rules. Kate Middleton made her fashion first by wearing Christian Dior on July the 8th for the start of the French state visit. According to the outlet, the 43-year-old's style choice was aimed at showing sartorial diplomacy. Her late mother-in-law, Princess Diana, was known to be a muse for the French fashion brand. There have been many arguments recently, allegedly about fashion style, said Turner. It is known that as soon as she is seen in a new outfit, it is sold out in minutes. Such is the demand to emulate her. The second story comes from Marie Claire, dated July the 19th, 2025. Former royal employee says Prince George will have to undergo military training, whether he likes it or not. This is by Amy Mackleton. Recent reports have suggested that Kate Middleton and Prince William have started preparing Prince George for his future on the throne. When the Prince of Wales becomes king, George will become the heir apparent, and he reportedly understands at least some of the responsibility that lies ahead. Now, a former royal employee has claimed that Prince George will have to complete some form of military training before he becomes the monarch. Both William and Charles had military training, former royal butler Grant Harold told online-leaning platform StudyDog via the Express. You're the commanding chief of the armed forces, so you got to know the profession. However, there might not be so much pressure when it comes to George, only time will tell. As for whether or not Kate and William's children will be expected to attend college or university, Harold said that currently expectations are unclear. I don't think it would be the frowned upon these days if they didn't go, Harold told the outlet. We may find that George, Charlotte, and Louis may not all go to the university. They may go straight to somewhere like the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst. Our third story comes from Y Entertainment, dated July the 19th, 2025. Princess Anne proves place as senior royal after reports William is planning to overhaul palace with younger members once he's king. This is by Leah Veloso. Princess Anne is still planning to work hard. She's been taking up royal engagements left and right and has no plans to stop. On Thursday, July the 17th, Princess Anne took on 3 royal engagements. She was also a recipient of an honorary doctorate from the University of Huddersfield in West Yorkshire. She later traveled to London for 2 military-related appointments. Last year, Princess Anne had outnumbered every working royal when it came to royal engagements. The only daughter of Queen Elizabeth undertook 474 engagements. Meanwhile, her brothers followed lead, with King Charles performing 372 engagements. Prince Edward carried out 293 visits. The working royal who had the least number of engagements was Kate Middleton, but her absence was due to her cancer diagnosis and treatment. Despite a busy schedule, retirement isn't on the table for Anne. The 74-year-old working royal said in an interview with the Press Association, I don't think there's a retirement program on this particular life. It really isn't written in, no. It isn't really an option, no, I don't think so. This all comes as sources report that William will overhaul the monarchy once he becomes king. According to the Times, he is looking to start by changing the coronation service to be much simpler. William will reportedly be mindful of how much the monarchy cost and would like the family to reflect modern life. He wants to make sure the whole thing has even more impact and remains relevant, a friend told the outlet. He has been thinking about the future for years, and he knows that what his grandmother did and what his father does is an evolution, Jason Knopf, CEO of Prince William's Earthshot Prize, explained. There are traditions and things that won't change, but this thinking about the next role is how is this going to be reflective of him. A source also told the Times that Princess Eugenie, Beatrice, Prince Edward, and Duchess Sophie will continue to have important roles in the royal family. It's really important the fantastic work they seem to do is seen. As for Anne, all is to be seen, but we know her hard-working ethic will never vanish. The fourth story is also by E! Entertainment, and it's also again about Princess Anne, and it's dated July the 18th. The Royal Mint just unveiled a gorgeous new coin, and it features this surprising member of the royal family. And this story is by Rachel Bowie, and it was dated on the July the 18th. It's not every day that the Royal Mint drops a new coin, but today the very first UK coin honoring Princess Anne has debuted, and it's to celebrate a significant milestone, Anne's 75th birthday. The Princess Royal will mark the occasion on August the 15th. The commemorative piece is meant to be a tribute to Anne's legacy as one of the longest-serving members of the British royal family, according to the Royal Mint website. The design, which features a tiara-clad Anne, was personally approved by the Princess Royal. Her stoic expression, her signature bouffant hairstyle, we'd say that this portrait of King Charles's sister, which is based on a photograph of Anne taken by John Swannell, is spot on. Royal sleuths will want to know. Anne is pictured wearing the Cartier-designed aquamarine pine flower tiara, which was originally a wedding gift from King George VI, Anne's grandfather, to Queen Elizabeth in 1938. It was then passed down to Anne by the Queen Mother on the occasion of her own wedding day in 1973, per the court jeweler. She's also pictured wearing her aquamarine pendant and earrings, which comes from the same tiara after Anne had it altered in the 90s. The text encircling the Princess Royal on the coin reads, "The Princess Royal, celebrating 75 years duty and devotion," a nod to her lifetime of service, but also likely her reputation as the hardest-working royal. She's pictured beside her official coat of arms, while the coin's reverse side features her brother, King Charles. Now, how to get your hands on the coin? It's available to purchase on the Royal Mint website for approximately $24. Other versions of the coin are also available, with a gold proof going for about $5,500, cost of shipping not included. Happy early birthday to Princess Anne. The fifth and last story comes from the New York Post, dated July 15th, 2025. Lord of the Swans, King Charles's annual swan uppings begins on the River Thames. This is by Isabella Bernabeu. King Charles's swan upping, an annual 5-day census of swans that belongs to the monarch, is happening this week on the River Thames in England. Yep, a swan census. So what is that exactly? Here's how the pomp and circumstance goes swimmingly, usually. Oarsmen, also known as the swan uppers, row along the river for 5 days, roaring "all up" when they spot a swan. The swan uppers then carefully approach the swan, lift it from the water, and check for any signs of injury or disease before moving on to the next swan. The backstory. Since the 12th century, Britain's reigning monarch has held the right to claim ownership of swans that swim in the open waters of the UK, thus giving the king the title Lord of the Swans. So yes, Lord of the Swans is one of King Charles III's lesser-known titles. Swans were once a delicacy in the UK, served at honorable events, but today they're a protected species, transforming the swan upping from simply a ceremonial event to a wildlife conservation effort. It gives us an indication of what's going on throughout the country. The King's Swan marker of 30 years, David Barber told the UK's The Independent. It's a tradition, but I think it's serving a very useful purpose as well. There's lots of symbolism, naturally, at this royal event, where the oarsmen wear scarlet red shirts to represent the king, or striped white and blue shirts to represent the worshipful company of dyers, paired with white shorts to represent the worshipful company of vintners. Both worshipful companies have owned the UK swan since the 15th century. The country's swan beaks were once marked enough to distinguish which were owned by the king, the dyers of the vintners. Unfortunately, over the past 2 years, swan numbers have dwindled in the UK, mainly due to avian flu outbreaks, but also from an increase in human activity in the rivers destroying their natural habitats, Barber said. The 2024 swan upping saw a 45% decrease in young swan findings from 2023, with only 86 young swans spotted last year. However, by EOD Monday, the first day of the year's swan upping, the oarsmen had already found 16. The event will continue until Friday, with oarsmen rowing from Sunbury to Aberdeen, about an 80-mile trek. King Charles himself hasn't turned out for the swan upping. His Majesty was scheduled to welcome India's men and women's Test cricket team at Clarence House, his Westminster, London residence. So I will end the video here. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so, it would help the channel to grow, as well as giving it a thumbs up. It's all a great help. And if you haven't clicked on the notification bell, if you could do that, it lets you know when a video is posted. More importantly, I want to wish everyone a good day, and tune in again soon for another episode of Queen Elizabeth, A Day in Her Life, the Royal News. Thank you. Bye.